What's good, guys? Today I'm playing Rawmetal. It's a stealth action beat 'em up indie style game. It just released, and I'm really excited to play it. I've seen some clips on Twitter, and I was questioning to see like what was going on with it. But like it started, I see more and more clips. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna wait for the full release. So I took a chance. I dove in, and I'm gonna give you some of my first impressions. All right, so right out the gate, I gotta say this game is definitely a roguelike. Now, I was a little thrown off by it when I first went to the tutorial because it didn't give me impressions that it was a roguelike, but it wasn't until afterwards. But let's jump in right into the tutorial first and foremost. It does a really good job of teaching you how to play. You have light attacks, heavy attacks. Heavy attacks can break guards. You have a dodge. You have a parry. You can use items. Um, Outside of combat, I didn't realize you can use items inside of combat until much later. It does have a style point system. While you're in combat, you rack up points when you do successful hits, dodges, break guards. But you lose points when you get hit or the enemy's block. It's a little punishing because if you get hit, your points get automatically reset. But if you just like hit them and they're guarding, then you just lose a little bit of points. It's not overall bad, but I I was getting the hang of it at least throughout the tutorial. Now, the tutorial was definitely very deceiving for the rest of the game. Um, what the game doesn't tell you, at least until you hit the first level, that's about items, how they affect your gameplay, and then the different rooms that you will encounter as you go on, because you're going to be diving down to different floors. You're going to see different things as you get down there. Now, my first few attempts were horrible, god awful. Like I was trying to spam the dodge, spam the parry, um, and I realized that you need to get it like almost frame perfect. And I started to get the flow of things a little bit throughout my first few runs, but it just kept kicking my ass over and over and over again. So then I decided enough is enough. I'm gonna hit the hyperbolic time chamber, right? I went into training and I got it. I eventually ended up getting it, right? I got understood the flow of combat a lot more during training. I was able to beat up the dummy. I was about the dummy hit me. I was able to experiment with different combos, and I had a lot of fun throughout these combos. I'll show off like some of like my good combos here, but it was it was definitely a good experience. And when I felt better about it, I was like, all right, let's dive right back in. All right. So to continue off this first impressions, I want to talk about level design. So I haven't seen much of it. I've only played for about an hour or so, and I've only gone through the first two levels. So I haven't. I take everything I say with like maybe a small grain of salt. Um, but there are different elements that will affect how you play. There are lights, there are cameras, and there are patrolling guards throughout each and every level, right? And that will change things how you go forward. There are some procedural elements or some randomness where some pathways may be open, some may be closed. So you may have to take different paths depending on the level. I have only seen the first level be different here and there, not much the second level. Um, Continuing on, the enemies. Now, I've only encountered two different types of enemies. There's like your normal grunts that do just normal melee attacks, and then you have little armored enemies that sometimes have guns that can hit you from a range. Um, but I anticipate there are definitely more enemies. I know there's bosses. I've seen some clips of bosses, but I did not get that far, at least in this play session. Maybe when if I drop a full review, I'll definitely talk about some of the bosses when I get there. Now, if you like beat 'em ups, you're definitely gonna enjoy this game. If you like stealth, you're definitely gonna like join this game. And then I feel like there's gonna be like a good like maybe speed run community with the idea of how fast you can get through these stealth sections. Because sometimes you don't have to fight, even though my gameplay footage might say otherwise, because I've kind of fought anybody I came across. But there are sometimes you could just opt to not fight them. You can use different items like the tier, I think it's a tier module, which will technically just warp you to a different part of the map. So you could utilize these tools greatly to just avoid combat if needed. And yeah, I think this is definitely fun, and then I definitely see that there's a good target audience with this game, and I'm really looking forward to future updates with it. And right now, I'm just gonna let the footage play for itself for the rest, and I'll see you guys another time. See ya.